Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today, and we are back once again for some more action as we arrive at the British Grand Prix round 10 of the season and my home race. If you guys missed the last episode, round 9 at Austria, then go watch the video by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of the screen to go watch the episode before we jump into any spoilers. But today we are here at Silverstone, and one of the original F1 racing tracks from way back in the 50s, and this weekend we have no rain expected in any of the sessions, which is quite rare for Britain, but then again, it is summertime, so it's kind of what you should expect. In terms of upgrades, we don't have any on the car this race. We do have a triple ultimate upgrade, I believe, planned for the Hungarian Grand Prix, so 2 more races to go until we get some big upgrades on the car. Until then, Racing Point have actually brought some upgrades of their own here, and they extend their gap at the top of the table as the quickest team on the grid. Williams is still second, and we are currently in third. Also, Alfa Romeo bringing some big upgrades this weekend and improving massively, and they're slowly becoming a force to be reckoned with in F1. But jumping into practice, and this weekend, the car's working well. I love Silverstone. It's such a good racing track, and practice was perfect. We got a flawless 325 points out of 325 points, so a really good start to the weekend, and purple in absolutely everything. And the car overall was working really, really well, and the pace was good as well. So I felt pretty encouraged going into qualifying that we could, do a good job and hopefully put on a show for the home fans. And normally, when you get a purple score in the qualifying performance test, that's normally a sign that you've got a good car underneath you, and that's normally a good indication that you should be, competing for the top spots. And we're going to jump into qualifying here, and you'll see now on my first run, this was my first of 3 runs as always, and it was actually a really strong banker lap, a really strong opener. The problem I have around this circuit is I lose 0.6 of a second, half second to the AI in the first sector alone, and I pretty much mashed them through the other 2 sectors, so I can't seem to find an answer for the first sector, which is ultimately what's kind of crippling me around here. And you'll see in this qualifying session, that's exactly what kind of hurts me as well, as we was half a second or 6 tenths down in sector 1, we then improved and was actually 4 tenths off in sector 2, and then eventually 8 tenths off in the final sector, a 23.2 compared to Verstappen's 22.4, a pretty strong lap there from Max. But we now move on to my best lap in qualifying. It was actually my second run, so here we go, opening up the final chicane and really making sure we get that good exit using the overtake mode to maximise the speed onto the pit straight. Now down towards turn 1, you want to go absolutely flat out through here, no issues whatsoever. Carry the speed and the momentum, and now look for the 100 meter board as your reference into turn 3, try and brake just after that, possibly at the DRS detection line, and then bring the car to the left hand side for turn 4. Really focus on your exit here if possible, try and avoid the curb, which is something I didn't do, but luckily we are still a tenth and a bit up through sector 1, and a pretty strong first sector, not much more I can really do. Somehow though, we are still half a second down on Perez, and I don't know where I'm going to find that from, but nonetheless we move on to the middle part of the lap now into Luffield and Brooklands, and again really important to get a good exit here. Use all the curb on the left hand side if you need it to maximise the exit speed. Use overtake along this entire former pit straight as we make our way down towards the old turn 1 Copse corner. Turn in at the 50 meter board as your reference, try and go flat. I had a slight little lift, I can't quite go flat in the McLaren as we now make our way into Magus, Beckett's and Chapel, this kind of beautiful sequence of corners. And again, it's all about opening up this right hander to really give you the best exit onto the hanger straight, opening up DRS there through Chapel, and we set a purple middle sector, and the gap is now 4.5 tenths, so we have pulled some time back on Perez as we make our way into the final sector, kicking things off with Stowe corner, trying to keep it nice and low and then really open up the track on the exit, carrying all the speed possible, and then braking late for the Vowel chicane down to third, taking a big chunk of inside curb, opening up the right hander, quickly back on the throttle to really get that traction down as we run up to the line. Now we are going to improve by 2.5 tenths, and that's going to put us in a 23.0, still 7 tenths off the pace, but still frustrating because I lost 2 tenths really in sectors 2 and 3 compared to the 5 I lost in sector 1. And then unfortunately on my final one, you just saw there on the bottom right, my DRS unfortunately went offline, so that's going to ruin our final run. And I still tried to go for it anyway because the car maxes out on the limiter quite easily now, even without DRS. So I tried to have a go at it, and we was doing okay, but then unfortunately I pushed the limits, and on the exit of the right hander they would just run a bit wide into the gravel, and that is going to put an end to our qualifying here today. Currently in P10, but then everybody went on their final runs, and we got pushed out of the top 10 and down to P11, which I'll actually take. That's a positive because we are going to get the free choice of tyre tomorrow, which is going to make a big difference. And I think we are lacking a little bit of pace around here, but I'm not quite sure what the answer is. I know the time I'm losing is turns 3 and 4, more specifically I think it's on the exit of turn 4 onto the Wellington Straight. I just can't seem to match the AI's traction through there, but that's not really anything surprising as we know the AI are OP on traction and acceleration. But overall, P11 for us, a disappointing qualifying in my home race. I expected a lot more as Sainz gets P5, but there wasn't much more time on the lap. I think P10 would have been the best we could have got, so overall that is it for qualifying here today, and we're now going to move into the race. Hopefully it's a better performance with the free tyre choice, but it's time for the British Grand Prix and my home race.
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such is the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. They're starting towards the back of the field today in a car that is fast, so they'll be disappointed, won't they?
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz and Russell, Gasly, Magnussen, Vettel and Alexander Albon, Martinez, Kvyat, Daniel Ricciardo and Giovinazzi, Bottas, Norris, Lance Stroll and Roman Grosjean. Hülkenberg, they've taken a grid penalty and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the British Grand Prix grid as we get ready for this race, and the pressure is on really because the championship got very close in the last race, and I want to try and keep that momentum going and keep things tight. Williams, McLaren, Racing Point, all very close, even Red Bull as well, and Alfa Romeo also catching up. But the championship fight got really, really intense. Leclerc, obviously, in the last race, not scoring any points, blew things wide open in the championship, and I want to try and continue that momentum. And I think with strategy, we might have a chance here today. So we are going to start the race on the medium tyres, and the reason being is because the overcut, I think, could be effective around here. There's a massive opportunity, a massive window of opportunity to make something happen if we stay long on the first stint and really go long, use the clean air and try and push really, really hard for a couple of laps. I feel like the tyres are very consistent around here, which is good. And also, I'm not going to have any fresh soft tyres available to me. They are going to be used, but again, tyre wear is not majorly high around here, so we should be okay. And nonetheless, I think the medium's a really solid tyre to run quite long if I need it. But the target is simple. We need to try and stay in the race in the first half with the mediums, and then around lap 6, 7, 8, we start to push and really make the difference with the medium tyre and try and work our way up the positions and into some space. Preferably though, if we can get a good start and make our way into the top 10 as straight on off the get-go in lap 1, that'd be great. But we're going to see how the race progresses either way. Hopefully it's entertaining and I can put on a show for the home fans. So let's jump into it. It's time for round 10 for the British Grand Prix. Let's get racing. Right, here we go. Let's try and get a good start then as we get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Good start from us. We get away pretty damn well into turn 1. We're going to go on the outside. Bit of debris flying off there right in front of us as we make our way into turn 3 for the first time. Got to be careful here to not lose any front wing debris. Easy does it through 4. Everyone's too wide, so it's kind of hard to find a bit of space. We're going to try and get some good traction though. Albon's a bit slow on the exit. We are going to tuck into the slipstream here. We might have a chance on the Toro Rosso if there's some space on the outside line. Can we go around the outside? It's going to be close, but we are making it work. We'll have the inside for the next one. A little bit of contact there. Luckily my wing's still in one piece, but Albon has the grip on the outside and just completely walks around the outside of us there. Ricciardo behind, looking for a move in the Alpha, but we're tucked into the slipstream. I've got a lot of fuel on board as well. We'll tactically put a lot of fuel in because it's going to be a long race. We're going to be using Rich Mix a lot, I feel, in this Grand Prix. But so far so good. We've been aggressive. We're hanging in there. I think we've got the pace to get past Albon. Again, we know this car is a Sunday race car. We saw in Austria, I qualified 8th, and I remember I went to second place after like 7 laps. But that wasn't a soft tire. But we've got the run on Albon here. We've got some speed and some legs on him. Not quite enough though. Looks like Sebastian Vettel's making a move on the Williams there, who's going a bit slowly. Also Ricciardo's queuing up behind us for a bit of contact actually. He hits the back of me. Not sure if he lost some wing possibly, but that Williams in front I think has wing damage. I think he's missing a right front end plate from what I can tell. So let's try and get past him. As Albon's going to make the move surely, and that Williams is going to start understeering. You can see visibly he's struggling for grip. For the second race in a row, there's a struggling Williams with wing damage. There was Leclerc in the last race. This time it seems to be Magnussen. Let's try and get a good exit here. This is where I've been struggling compared to the AI, but in the race, I don't have that same struggle. It's just a qualifying thing where the AI get flawless traction. In the race, it's not that much of a problem. Looks like Albon's not going for the move just yet, although he's going to put the Williams under some pressure here. We're starting to lose time, so we need to try and make these moves happen. We're going to try and go around the outside, get on the switchback possibly. Not quite. Back in a bit of rear end grip. This is trouble for us because we're losing ground to the cars in front in the top 10. Here goes Albon though down the inside into Cops. This took it ugly. I pick up a corner cut there as I was being a little bit cautious. Ricciardo's got the run of me here. He's going to try and look down the inside into Maggots, which is an interesting place to make an overtake. It is Magnussen in front of us, so here we go. We set up the exit beautifully onto the hangar straight, tucked into the slipstream. No DRS just yet. Look at this. Albon's defenseless. We're going to try and go for this. 3 wide into Stowe. Down the inside we go, and we make it work. Double overtake. Took a very early apex, very aggressive. We're going to go defensive again here because the guys behind are 2 wide. But we make the move into the top 9 as DRS will now be enabled, and we've actually pulled away here. Let's try and open up a gap.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
For that very reason, important to really open up a gap here and try and pull away from Magnussen. Let's see if we can keep pace with Sebastian Vettel and try and get within his DRS. That'd be fantastic. Pace is good here. I'm really flying. Purple sector 2. Really strong pace, and we're dropping the cars behind and catching up to Sebastian again. The car is showing very strong race pace early on, which is really good for us, especially on this tyre. Bit of a lock up there on entry on both tyres. Right front on entry, left front on corner apex, but we're catching up to Sebastian Vettel here. This should be a strong lap. 26.5, that's good pace for us. And we're closing in on the Ferrari driver. Let's keep pushing.
Some information on Kvyat. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Not much of a concern as he is behind us, so doesn't really matter too much. I'm on for another strong lap here. And they're all battling in front as well, which is good for us. Seems like it is my teammate who's tucked in that battle. No, it's an Alfa Romeo, so that's good news. So Sainz is a little bit further up. That lead group is looking so congested, which is also good news for us because they're not really pulling away. That's exactly what we need. And at the minute we are in this race, strategy's working out beautifully. We are going to set another personal best. Good consistent pace, exactly what we want. Let's try and get within a second of the cars in front though if possible. That would be perfect. I think I might just get DRS here possibly. And then if I don't, I've just missed out. I have burnt up quite a few of my resources trying to catch up, but hopefully if I sit behind them we do have DRS, so we can save a bit of ERS and then charge everything up, because we're going to have to get past 3 cars, and also not just get past, we need to get away as well, because DRS is very effective and the slipstream battles are constant around this track. So like we did before with Albon and also Magnussen, we need to make sure the pass is definitive. We're properly tucked in behind these guys now. Timing is really important with this. Their soft tyres will be starting to fade now, so we will have the advantage soon. Like I said, tyre wear is not majorly high around here, so the softs will still be okay for a little while. But it is getting to that phase. It's all about timing now in terms of the overtake. As the Red Bull, I'm guessing it's Russell probably, making a move on Pierre Gasly. This took it ugly. Vettel, Gasly side by side. We're going to tuck in right behind. Someone's going to have to yield here. I'm best placed for this. And it's Gasly. We're going to go on the outside of Pierre. Inside for the next corner. Side by side. We do get the better traction and make the move. I think I'm too far back to challenge Sebastian Vettel here because he's got DRS, unfortunately. But that's one move done. I'm not going to challenge Seb just yet. We need to keep within Russell's DRS. Okay, we're perfectly placed this time. Seb hasn't caught up that much to the Red Bull, But I'm close enough that even if he has DRS, I think I should be able to get the run on him through here. Easy does it through Maggots and Beckett's. Really important to open up this exit here. A little bit of understeer did kick in, but we are close enough. Let's see if I can get the run on the Ferrari. We're gaining, come on. We're maxed out on the limiter. Down the inside we go though, we're late on the brakes, and we make the overtake stick. A little bit wide on the exit, but we make it work. As Leclerc sets the pace in the Williams, quite a late one really for a soft tyre, so his tyres are still hanging in there quite nicely. Here we go then, let's set up Russell for an overtake. Making our way through here, nice and easy. Let's try and use 5th gear to get a bit more front end. Still straight for a bit of understeer there, dirty air does kick in, but Russell doesn't have DRS, so this should be an easier move. We're gaining on the Red Bull, he doesn't defend. That's going to be a very, very simple overtake. Now, do we have the pace to pull away and drop him out of DRS range? I'll say that he's actually gone down the inside. I completely left the door open there, but we have defended nicely. Now, can I get the traction down? I've accidentally made a mistake. I've used the wrong part of my MFD. I've used the differential instead of the ERS. Into turn 1, though, we're going to hold the inside line, and that'll be fine. We can take that. Let's see if we can get a good exit. Really important to get really clean traction out of turn 4. And that is perfect. Exactly what I wanted. We should be okay now. Let's try and drop him. Okay, the leaders begin to pit in. Everyone pits except for one. So Racing Point that stayed out front.
Carlos is in for his stop.
Russell's not giving up though. He's got a lot of straight line speed in that Red Bull, of course. So it's quite tricky to pull away. Hamilton's the one that stays out. Hopefully they'll pit this lap and that will leave me in clean air, which is important because pretty much every one of the big boys were battling this race amongst each other. So I'm going to be in clean air, able to push and give it some. And of course everyone behind me is going to be on mediums now, so we're all going to be on the same tyre. Here comes Russell again, but he's not close enough. There we go. Right, let's focus now and keep pushing. And there we go, the remaining cars pit. That's going to leave us in first place. And now I get to run my own race. I don't have to run the engine at a higher mode and use up all my fuel in the RS. I can now do my own thing. So I'm going to focus now. I have a couple laps where I sweat in standard engine mode and really focus on my own pace. Pace is good. I'm getting quicker and quicker every single lap. I'm improving by 1 to 2 tenths per lap on my pace and getting closer to my personal best in standard engine mode. We're pitting in next lap. Perez and Leclerc are battling, but they are catching me. They're lapping about a second a lap quicker. But the fact they're battling helps us out. Just got to keep doing my thing.
Don't forget, box this lap.
I actually think I'm going to go for one more, just because I'm going onto a used set of softs. I'm going to play it safe and just do one more. The pace is good anyway. I'm pretty much matching my personal best, so I'm going to keep it going. Right, strong lap here. We're going to box in. Let's make sure it's a good entry. Really good stint. I got faster and faster every single lap since I stopped talking to you guys pretty much. Improving every single lap as the fuel burn off. Get also down to the 60. There we go. Right. Good end to the stint. Obviously, I don't think we're going to win today or compete for the podium, but I reckon a top 5 could be possible. It depends on the battles further down the grid. But hopefully we can make some good progress on the soft tyre. That's what I'm also hoping for, that the soft tyre holds on, doesn't overheat, and we can battle guys. But here we go. We need a quick stop from the boys.
Go, go, go.
2.2, not the best, but still. Right, down to P3. We've got Sainz here, battling with Hamilton for P5. If I could rejoin here, that'd be fantastic, but I think there's going to be more cars here, and it's Russell and Gasly on their way through. So it's going to be P8 for us.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Right then, that's fair enough. P8. Still in front of Sebastian Vettel, that's fine. But let's use these soft tyres. Let's try and at least get a top 6 finish. Right, we're going to try and go for a purple lap. Again, damage limitation really in this situation where we're not that high up in terms of position. It's important to get the fastest lap, so here we go. Let's crank up the engine and let's give it some. Hopefully we'll be on the back of Gasly by the end of the lap if all goes well. Carlos Sainz 25.1. Good pace from him, but we're going to smash that, I think. 24.5, there we go. That should secure the fastest lap for us, I think, in this race. Let's try and get on the back of these guys. I'm just struggling because they've got DRS on each other.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They are out of the race.
Hulkenberg retires from the British Grand Prix. So we're almost within DRS range. I'm actually struggling. The pace isn't that good on the soft tyre. We just don't seem to have a car for it really today. Quite surprising. Considering we hit, all the practice programs, that's normally a good sign when you get purple and everything, including the qualified performance test, but they are just too strong. Here I am then on the back of both of these guys. I wasn't planning this, but we've got the run, so we may as well take it. I'm going to box in George Russell. Go down the inside. Got to be careful not to hit Gasly there on the braking, but we make the move. And we move up to 7th place. Gasly up next. Let's try and get past him as well. It probably won't be until the hanging straight on the next lap because I struggle through Sector 1 compared to the AI, as we know. Unless I can get the run here, which we are getting, to be fair. Fantastic run all the way through this section. But we're not going to go for the move, unfortunately. At least unless Gasly has a horrible exit. Which he doesn't really, so yeah, we'll just hang back until the hanging straight ready. Save a bit of fuel in the RS while I've got the chance. Here we go, then we're tucked in behind Pierre. We're going to try and go for the move. Trying to save a bit of VRS and fuel while I'm at it. Gotta be careful with Russell behind us, who will have DRS. Here we go then. Turn the engine up, let's give it some. Russell's looking for a move, but it's not going to work for him as we go down the inside. Off Pierre Gasly into Stowe. Job done, but we're not done yet. The second I make a move, that AI always turn their engines up to full power. So it's hard for me to shake them off. Oh, that's a big one. That's put me in big trouble into turn 1. Luckily we'll keep Pierre behind for now, but that was a big moment. Right, P6. Let's see if we can get anything else out of this race. We are running out of laps, but you never know. Miracles can still happen.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
Danny Kvyat out the race in the Toro Rosso. Second retirement of the Grand Prix. I'm trying to shake away from Gasly here, but he's keeping up with me, unfortunately. I'm going to use up all my reserves to try and drop DRS. This is now a defensive drive to keep Gasly behind. I can't shake him off in classic Silverstone fashion. So we just got to try and use that ERS tactically and make sure we keep him behind at all costs. Well, I look at Gasly here, he's got a lot of momentum. I haven't turned my engine up, so he's going to catch me napping. Taking a very short apex into Cops, and Gasly's going to get the run again probably into Maggots. Unless I block him off, which we do. All about getting them exits where it matters, like this one there onto the hanger straight. That's pretty good, and we should be okay here. 1 more lap to go. Just realised Leclerc's in front of us. He's struggling for pace. I wonder if he's got wing damage, because he was battling Perez for the lead, so we might run out of laps. So Leclerc seems to be in trouble. We're really catching Leclerc here. I smell blood. I'm giving it everything. I'm using up all the rest of my engine mode to try and get the run on him, but I think we might just run out of laps, unfortunately for us. But for the championship it's good, because it will mean damage limitation, so we've got the extra point for the fastest lap, so that's going to help us out in terms of Leclerc will only pull away by 1 point, I believe. Onto the hanger straight, we've got a nice gap to Gasly, 7/10. I wonder if we just run out of engine mode as we push on into the last 10% of VRS. Let's keep pushing, never give up, you never know. Leclerc could have a penalty, but Perez, I believe, will win here today, and he does for a racing point, picking up the W. So I think Sainz might maybe get a podium. No, he don't. He got 4th. So there we go, across the line, and P6. Not great, but it is what it is.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A brilliant performance. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Racing Point's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the veterans of the sport. They're making their way out to the podium now as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them.
Right, so the race results are in, and Perez wins the British Grand Prix ahead of Max Verstappen in second place. Lewis makes it a 1-3 for Racing Point ahead of Carlos Sainz, who scores a very strong fourth and a really good amount of points for him in the championship ahead of Charles Leclerc in P5. And I'm guessing he must have had car issues or wing damage because he fell off at the end, and one more lap and we would have had him, which is really unfortunate. But we do set the fast up of the Grand Prix, so we only miss 1 point to Leclerc in the championship, which is fine, and that is good damage limitation. Leclerc is actually, he's had a couple of bad races, 1 point in the last two. That's pretty poor for him. But either way, Gasly P7, Russell in 8th, and then we've got Sebastian Vettel P9 ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi in 10th. So Ferrari again scoring double points in their kind of mini resurgence in form. Then Ricciardo misses out on points along with Magnussen, Bottas, Stroll, Grosjean, Raikkonen, Norris, Albon, Kvyat, and Hulkenberg. Those two return from the Grand Prix. Magnussen also out of the points again with wing damage, and it's been a miserable race for Williams once again. And the last two races they've only scored 1 point, which means in the championship we're now 13 points behind Leclerc. So we do lose a little bit of ground. Perez only 13 points behind me now, so that top three covered by 16 points, extremely close. Carlos Sainz overtakes Russell there for P7, but in terms of the constructors, Williams dropped to second place as Racing Point take the lead, and we're 17 points behind Williams, 40 points behind Racing Point, and we've got work to do because we need to improve. The car's not quite there yet. We do have those upgrades on the way for Hungary. Until then, we can't really do much. I do believe there is a minor upgrade available, so we are going to put that on the car right now. So let's jump into the laptop and let's upgrade this McLaren, moving into the next race at Germany. Okay, so here we are then on the laptop, and you can see on the top right we have 1,300 points to spend, and we currently have 3 massive upgrades on the way. I believe they're all ultimate, so that's going to make a massive difference to our car performance moving forward, but we still have a couple of upgrades left to do. I believe in total there are only 2 more upgrades left on this entire game, and we don't have enough for the major one. We'll get that one soon, but for the next race we are going to put on a minor DRS upgrade onto the car for the German Grand Prix, and that will leave us with just 1 more upgrade to do in the entirety of this game, and that will arrive after we get the major upgrade package at Hungary. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode here today. If you guys enjoyed it, then by all means drop a like on the video, I'd greatly appreciate it, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications so don't miss any videos from me. And also finally guys, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you in my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.